Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Fine, the senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are and what other people say, you are valid. Thumbs up for that. And it is indeed a brand new day. I've been outside. It is bright and sunny. We never really had winter here. We never really had real fall either. And then there was a brief moment of winter when it snowed and was freezing, and then it stopped, and then winter was over. We've got frogs that are out there and all the spring stuff. So thumbs up. Climate change for the win. Anyway, though, hopefully your day is awesome, because my day, well, I had therapy today. And therapy days are always decompression time afterward. It can take a long time, it can take a short time, and sometimes it's just all day. But today was therapy, and it is 1:44. Now, I can't blame all of this time on decompression because I ate, and then ate just before starting to record, a lot of crackers, saltine crackers. With butter on them. Uh-oh. So I've eaten like a part of, not a full, yeah, there's about 2/3 of a stick of butter with a full sleeve of crackers today. And then I eat another sleeve of crackers. Now that's all I've had to eat all day, but still, I'm gluten intolerant. I have been in a gluten coma here in my chair for a while, which is bad because I woke up with my neck, the base of my neck, where you've got your shoulder blades and then your neck comes up from there. This joint, that area where your back connects up here and then it becomes your neck, that joint is really, really sore. And your head weighs a good almost like 8 pounds. And when it's just hanging on your neck if you fall asleep, oh, that's not good. And that even hurt just doing that. So yeah, my neck is not doing great. And of course your neck muscles connect to your arm muscles, so you use your arms to do stuff, and that's going to make your neck sore too. Yay, thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, I just wanted to mention that's all I really have to talk about. I did go, as stated, though, over mostly because I gluten coma, and it's difficult for me just to remember things to write down to talk about, because I could go live through a car crash and a spear just narrowly missing my face, and I would sit down, load up my word processor, look at the blank page and go, nothing has happened today. So I'm faced with that. I've done things and thought of things, but when I load up that thing to write them down so I can talk about them, so a large part of it is I have to use my ADHD going off on tandems to try and remember the things that I want to talk about. Of course, the issue being with ADHD, you have that one train of thought. And if you can't remember what is immediately behind you, it's gone. So you go off on a tandem, if you can't remember immediately behind you what's there, the tandem is now the main track. So thumbs up on that. But I've been to the community center. I got a letter from the people that are in charge of the finance stuff. They determined what you're going to be paying in rent. They looked at all of my finances and such to determine whether I could even live here, whether I fit the rules, not the rules, the limits and all that. There's a word for it. I'm just struggling on that one. But I had gotten the change because there's a cost of living increase, Social Security, disability. I had a cost of living increase. I forgot to do it within the 10 days you're supposed to. So getting a slap on the wrist for that, I expected that. But I, in a community case manager, did the physical paperwork, sent it in to them, after I had started it online, but couldn't figure it out. And so we went and did the paperwork part. And then I got an email saying you need to do this or we're going to have to do a bunch of stuff. So we went and did it again. And I just got the letter referring to the one we did again, saying you need to do it on time. There's no rent change right now, but there might be. You need to do it on time in the future, don't you? And it's like, we did. I don't know what they did with the paperwork that we sent them that first time, but we sent it. So, just the tone of the letter is grating. But such is life. Past that, I have just been living. I spend way too much time watching videos. When I'm not watching videos, I am spending way too much time playing usually one video game. It's usually Paint the Town Red. Now that's why I say usually though. That's why I say usually though. Because I've spent a lot of time playing the game No Place Like Home, where as much as you're doing puzzles and you're befriending animals and you've got to build houses for them and you're farming, you spend a lot of time clearing up all the garbage that's on the map to get the resources. And so you're spending a lot of time just running around the landscape, beating on things till they fall apart, and then hitting the space bar and running around so that you're hoovering up all the garbage you knocked apart. So you're just going bang, 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 ooh, bang, 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 ooh. And then occasionally finding an animal and befriending it, or finding a robot and beating it up. There are underground bases, though, that are abandoned, just all torn up. You find animals down there, too. And there's a big puzzles down there, and I think there's like a game-ending puzzle. So, end game stuff. So, I mean, it's fun. It's largely mindless. But I and many people are suffering right now. I am not suffering like the people that are suffering. I mean, I have just depression. I don't have anything that, any thoughts, any actions that are suddenly in the crosshairs of the United States government. So I am not an immediate target that way. But because of my depression and everything that's happening, I'm, like many people with depression, am being crushed by extra depression. It is externally created. It is external, not internal. It is extrinsic, not intrinsic. It is being forced upon me from without. Life is life. But I am decompressed. I have spent since 10 o'clock trying to decompress. I've eaten those crackers. I've watched videos. I've played Paint the Town Red. And as much as it is a bar brawl murder simulator, where, again, I played one where I was in an office building of sorts, with many rooms filled with a lot of people. And while I didn't beat all of them to death, I beat a good 3/4 of them to death with my feet. The others, they beat each other to death. But in the end, I was the only one standing, surrounded by piles, heaps, and spatterings of mutilated human corpses. It's a fun game. It's pretty mindless, and yeah, you commit a lot of murder. A lot a lot of murder. It was like 91 people dead in the end. Remember, the mutilated corpses. If you don't want to think, that's a good one to do. Except there is thinking. And it is a very, I don't remember if I mentioned this yesterday, but it is a very ADHD friendly game. Because ADHD, you can look at this big thing with a lot of action happening and then all of the sounds of the fight going on, and immediately I can look at all the screen of stuff happening. Just information overload. But from across the room, the very moment one of those little guys switches their attention from each other to me, I am swooning right on them, and then I am running for them with the boot ready. ADHD will help you play this game. The very moment their attention comes to me, I zero in on them. It is awesome to be able to do that. I mean, everybody does to some degree, but I've played with various people through the years where any one of these characters would be punching them before they figured out that they were in danger. And then there's dry spot on my lip. Felt like a huge part of skin. My apology. And then there are other people that better than I. You know, these are the people that play the multiplayer games where they can, make a leap and do a no-scope shot to take someone out. But I'm closer to that side than the they're right in your face. It's quite amazing to play. It is a good game in that fashion. You don't have to think, but you gotta have good reflexes. Especially if you do. I have imposed upon myself a challenge rule, which is one attack. There's only one attack that's any good in the game. The kick. Now, this is of course my opinion, because every attack is good. And the boot is very inefficient and doesn't do the worst damage. But it can be devastating, and it's just more fun, in my opinion. I have run up to people who are bending over to grab a weapon off the ground, and a boot, and they come apart like a rotten melon because I hit them just right. They splash as they scatter across the ground. It is a thing of beauty to watch a living human being become a spray of disparate organs. Thumbs up for that. But leading from that to something else, I did want to talk about some more about my characters here that I've been talking about. Jimmy Lane Baker and David Elias De Silva. That was hard to say for me for just a moment. David Elias De Silva. It's not difficult, I was just stumbling. I was talking about how yesterday they're friends, where Jimmy Lane Baker is the 13th type of cryptid who has to eat a human being every single week or he will starve to death. And there is Daff, who just recently discovered, in terms of the stories, discovered that he is a cryptid. And that the cryptid part of him wants him to not indulge in his cryptid stuff. Because the type of cryptid he is an urban legend, wandering stranger, serial killer, and one of the most virulent types that leaves mountains of corpses behind them wherever they go. But Daff is mellow. He didn't even know that he has cryptid instincts, which every expressed cryptid does, unless you're of the 13th kind, in which case you have none, and you have an absolutely human mind within a cryptid body. But all the others, when you express, you get part of you is stomped on and erased and replaced with instincts. That erasure can leave you just lightly touched to the point you don't notice, or can leave you trapped inside the cryptid, metaphorically. But Daph's instincts were such that he didn't know he was a cryptid, and whenever he felt the urge to do something that was not a good thing to do, well, Daph doesn't do that. Daph doesn't do stuff like that. So whenever he felt the urge, it was like, oh, because he's the sort of person, he apologizes to people for the outburst if he just expresses mild annoyance out loud. But after learning from his cryptid that he should not indulge in his cryptid ways, because once he once he kills, he becomes a slave to the blood. He will be doing nothing but living for the kill, no room for anything else. He will lose himself. He will be lost. And the cryptid will have to give up their very plush existence and start going to work. So Daph will lose. The cryptid part that's the serial killer part will lose. Don't indulge. So Daph, a very mild person who would not hurt a flea anyway, now knows he really shouldn't do that. But he is friends with a guy that has to eat human beings once a week. But Daph, it's different. When they go into town, when Jimmy Lane Baker says he's hungry, Daph will, they'll go into town to find someone for him to eat. And he's all, ooh, she looks delicious. You want to eat her? Or him? Oh, I bet he smells wonderful. You want to eat him? And he's all like, ooh, when he thinks he's found someone good for Jimmy to eat. And if they do find someone, Daph will go up to distract him. Because Jimmy doesn't want to do horrific things. He's a human mind inside of his cryptid body. And while Daph is keeping them distracted, he comes up behind them silently and then does what he can to make them go from living to not as fast as possible. No suffering. They don't even know it happens. But Daph keeps them talking. There is a time when Jimmy Lane Baker has an issue because he's not Jimmy Lane Baker anymore. Jimmy Lane Baker was 5'6", worked as a welder, had friends, an apartment. But to everybody that's not a cryptid, Jimmy Lane Baker staggered off to the hospital and then disappeared, along with a security guard, leaving behind a blood-filled room. And no one's seen him since. Jimmy Lane Baker is dead. So who is this Jimmy Lane Baker in this new body? So in an existential crisis, he decides to become, instead of Jimmy Lane Baker, Bakir, renaming the Baker part, turning his back on the human side, but goes too far and is about to lose himself. And Daph brings him back with, I will have to go if you do what you are planning on doing. To kill for just killing instead of killing to survive. And just the thought of Daph leaving brings him back enough that he's able to fight and struggle to come back and away from that. He can't be Jimmy Lane Baker. Jimmy Lane Baker is dead. But being Bakir is the same as being dead, because he will have lost himself. So he's trying to be in the middle, and he's James Baker. But yeah, he's 6'5", big muscle guy, lots of hair, very hairy. Not so tall that he really stands out. You've seen taller. Not so muscular that he stands out. Again, you've seen people with bigger muscles, and not so hairy. IRL, one of my former brothers-in-law, since my wife died 10 years ago, but one of the people who was a brother-in-law, he was one of those people that really needed to shave his whole body. His back was just a mat of black hair. So he wouldn't even stand out that way. But the type of cryptid he is of the Bigfoot type. Sasquatch. And he's of the 13th kind, so he has to eat a person every single week, or he is going to painfully starve to death. So he eats human beings with a human mind in a cryptid body. A situation in which a good 2/3 of the cryptids who are 13th kind do not survive even to their 5th year of being that kind. They will have taken themselves out of the game for the horrific things they have to do to survive. And tomorrow, more about not Jimmy Lane Baker, Daff, because there was some stuff I wanted to talk about with him. Yay! If anybody is still watching, you are a beautiful and awesome person. Trust me on that one. And one day I'm going to think about these things. If you could write Ultra in the comments to let me know that people have actually watched this, and then let the algorithm know that people have actually watched this, that would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. I haven't said this very well because I'm not thinking very well, because I still have a ton of gluten in my gut, and it's not good for my brain functions. I should stop eating wheat, but oh, it tastes so good. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. And if you are a Patreon patron, thank you so very much. You are beautiful and awesome people. You help me out so very, very much, and that is appreciated. When you look in the mirror, know that you are beautiful and awesome physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you've left me a comment, I read as many as YouTube shows me. I heart as many, well, thumbs up or heart, if I can't thumbs up, as many as, well, I just explained it, didn't I? And I answer as many as my nerve compression will let me. So thumbs up on that, which means it could be up to a day or two before I'm actually able to respond, but I try. So thumbs up. Well, anyway, I'm 23 minutes into this, so I'm going to edit, render, upload, and then I'm just going to continue trying to take care of myself for the rest of the day as best I can. I'm feeling more active and mentally better, even with the external depression. I'm going out in walkies. I'm getting outside in the daytime a little bit more, so that's good. And I'm going to be going walkies again tonight and doing what I can. Hopefully, you are going to be taking care of yourself as well, doing what you have to do. And if you can't, don't beat yourself up. You deserve better. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very, very good thing. My throat is so sore. I started having GERD heartburn symptoms just before I started recording, and my entire throat is burning from it. I gotta start getting an antacid, and when I talk to my doctor again, I gotta let him know I gotta do something about the GERD. For decades, I haven't had to deal with it because I was on medicine before. And now it looks like I'm going to have to go back on. Thumbs up. So you take care. I got to move a thing so I can get to the stop recording button. And then I'm going to stop recording.